I don't know the back stops at which office, Honorable Chair, if you can assist me, because we have those problems. On Sunday I was at our church, and then there is a lady who started crying that she is working at a dispensary with medicine instead of working at the level 5, or that the cancer center helping those many cases that we have in Meru. So I think this committee can still also try to assist my thinking on what should be done, Chair.
Yeah, before the governor responds, Senator Mariam.
Governor, you say 6,150 staffs. How many are in what IDPD?
Thank you, Chair. I don't have the exact number with me.
The chair?
All of them.
All of them? Yes. There's no cashews paid?
No cashews at all.
Well, there's a substantial worded query on manual payroll, which we shall come to. What the Deputy Speaker is asking is what I was calling fitness for purpose, where you've got the right people in the right jobs, not just people employed for the sake of it. The reason why this is important, Governor, is that we are going to define the next formula for allocation of revenue amongst counties. In the past, 2% of the total revenue available was based on fiscal responsibility. And fiscal responsibility, we used to look at whether you are below 35 or above 35. We used to look at things like whether you're meeting your targets on on-source revenue. 2% of the amount that the Deputy Speaker mediated, it was 400 billion. 2% of 400 billion is 8 billion. Now 8 billion will not be available, Meru will not access it if you're at 45%. Meru will not access it if your on-source revenue targets are not being met. Now we are trying to teach you tricks of accessing more money. So the Deputy Speaker has negotiated 400 billion for the entire country. How does Meru take advantage of that? It's by making sure that these parameters make sense. And that's why when we started, I was complaining about other payments. Because an analysis of your receipts of in your statement of receipts and payments indicates that you only committed 14% to development. And what CRA looks at is a statement of receipts and payments, not the other statement that your chief officer was referring me to. So you need to look at these ratios as a means of getting more revenue for Meru. There are conditional grants that also look at these ratios. So to that extent, we are trying to expose you to ways of getting an extra 200, 300 million for Meru. Unfortunately, you have not given us any demonstrable evidence that you're taking action. Your response is a story. Is it possible for us to get a commitment in writing? Is there a cabinet paper? Is there something by the County Public Service Board to capture what that CC was talking about? Is there anything in writing on the strategies you are taking with actions and expected outcomes? Is there anything like that so far?
Yes, Chair.
So what is it? What kind? Is it a policy document? Is it a public service board memo? Is it a memo from county secretary? What is it?
Yeah, it's a public service board memo.
And what does it include?
That it freezes hiring.
It freezes hiring?
Actually, this one came after, there was an issue that was raised during the previous impeachment on hiring. And
what other measure does it talk about?
Essentially, it's on hiring, on freezing of hiring.
So how does that move you from 45 to 35%?
Okay, we are also carrying out
no, wait a minute. I don't want you to be defensive. I'm guiding you on what you need to work on. Freezing of hiring alone will not take you to 35%. There are other initiatives like growing your own source revenue that can increase the base. So we must demand a proper, well thought out strategy from Meru. And Governor, If we gave you a month, will that be too short for you to sit with your cabinet, with your public service board, and tell the Senate that yes, you're at 45%, but these are the strategies we want to pursue to ensure that we reduce it to 35%. Is a month sufficient?
A month is sufficient, Chair.
Yeah, because Senator for Meru, in this response, there's really nothing. There's nothing, there's no annexure, there's no record, there's no document that we can refer to. So we are going to direct that within the next 30 days, the governor shall, again, to the Auditor General and copy to the Senate, the strategies to reduce this to the acceptable statutory limit. And please consult the Public Service Board, the County Secretary, have a cabinet conversation, and have something that you can put on record to show your commitment on that matter. 30 days, okay?
Very much okay, Chair.
Fine. So, clerk, in our preliminary recommendations, you will communicate that. We proceed to the other issues. The earnings below the statutory minimum. I think this is a problem we have seen across counties. Auditor General, is it recurring?
This year,
It is recurring?
yes,
Is it because of the new laws?
yes, so the new rules and the taxes.
So we can keep that in view.
Yes, Chair.
Non-compliance with ethnicity and regional distribution. 90% of employees from same dominant ethnic community. Governor, what was the response on this?
We concur with your audit observation that the county do not comply with the 30% constitutional requirement of recruitment of officers from non-dominant communities. This is because this has been occasioned by the fact that during the recruitment process, few applicants from non-dominant community tendered the application, with most of the applicants from the non-dominant community not meeting the minimum qualification criteria. In future, the County Public Service Board will encourage more applicants from non-dominant community by putting a caption on any advertisement. Applicants from non-dominant community are encouraged to apply.
Which is the dominant community in Meru County?
Meru.
Senator Kawira, we have had a problem with this provision of the NCIC Act, and we've asked ourselves whether it ought to apply to county governments. Because if you look at the basis upon which counties were formed, they were largely formed on tribal basis. And I remember talking about it when I was moving the county boundaries bill, that the independence counties were ethnically homogeneous. So, but in this committee we deal with the law as it is. So the law requires it, you need to fulfill it. But what is the law as it should be? That is what the Senate needs to think about. Assuming, Senator Kawira, assuming, and I know that is not your plan, assuming you're governor for Meru, how will you ensure that you have reduced this to 30%? How practical is it?
Maybe even a better question to him as a senator for Meru and for all of us. Assuming in the spirit of trying to make it 30%, the governor for Meru appointed a OCC, what would now Senator Kawira, the senator for Meru, say about it? I mean, because that's a good conversation. Will she allow the governor that she has now brought in people so that we can get that %? Or will she say, like I would, that the governor does not even have confidence in our children, that they can employ our children to take the country
I think, Chair, you summarize everything, because I think we are supposed to have a provision, because these county appointments revolve around politics, right? The argument will just go the way just made is putting it, that we know there are quite a number of regional political counties and the link and all these things. counties and so forth. I think we must revisit that law, Chair, and you have just observed that in the future it's not supposed to be anchored in counties, because the process was quite much even from the one go. The counties were formed along the declines. If you go to Tharaka-Nithi, where I come from, it's only dominant of one tribe, maybe the Akachuka and Mwembi. You go to Meru, the same, we Metis and Tianas and Igembes. So if you bring another person there, you hear some cry from Igembe, you have abandoned one of us. I think it's something that we need to interrogate as a senator and we come up with the best way to abandon that declaration in law.
Senator Katuri from.
My proposal, Chair, is maybe the Auditor General to give this committee just check across counties, which county has complied, which has not. Because that in by so doing you'll be able to have good evidence to change this with the national question, just doing that comparative analysis on other counties whether they also complied. Because maybe I don't know whether also Omabay has complied. Omabay County, Mr. Chair.
In our view to comply, the governors end up redefining sub-tribes as tribes. So, for example, Omabay, they have now decided that there are some people called Abasuba to show that there is compliance. So it's a troublesome thing, and I think we as the lawmakers, we need to look at this. The report of the NCIC comes to Parliament, and I think it goes to the Cohesion Committee. So we can deal with it substantively there, but we must talk about progressive realization, because even though the counties were founded on ethnic basis, we have a generation that defies those kind of definitions. Someone from Omabay would expect that they can apply for a job in Meru and get it without being chased away by the MCS.
To me, that the percent is on the higher side. 30%, maybe at 10%, that will be the rise of.
The only count that maybe we can say as compliant could be Nairobi, which is as the face of the whole country.
We could have a different figure for cities.
Yeah.
Nairobi, Kisumu, Mombasa, Eldoret and Nakuru.
Yeah, we can remove around the cities now. We can confine ourselves to cities because probably that is the face of the country.
But I thought Meru would naturally be the next city. Which one would be the fifth or sixth city?
Eldoret, I think Madam Governor should have Meru as a city after Eldoret, because Eldoret is getting their charter next month, August.
Yeah, so I hope you meet the criteria, including population.
Yes,
otherwise,
I saw the criteria and I think
overdrive.
Meru is qualified to have the city status.
I think we'd be very happy as a Senate to consider that, because we believe that a country with only 4 cities is a joke. We have other countries out there where there's a city within 50 kilometers, you find a city. And so, Governor, you need to aspire to that, and the Senate will support you in that quest. Because I believe it's possible to have 47 cities in this country, because there's a way urbanization also brings about improvements in people's lives.
And yeah, that is a project I will be the first one to work closely with the governor to make sure that Meru is the city status. The first project to undertake there.
I think this meeting can now end. We have found a point of convergence. Our objective has been achieved.
Yeah, there is a very serious confession. The first project ever.
Yes. No, I like that spirit, and Mr. Speaker, you can count on us to support that quest. For the record, I was the chair of the devolution committee when the Senate approved the application of Nakuru to be a city. So I'm quite familiar with that process. You must work together. If the senator is against it, it cannot go anywhere. And if the governor is not for it also, it cannot be pushed. So, Governor, that one, we shall be, the chair of this committee shall be the arbiter between the senator and the governor to push for city status in Meru.
The qualification is because I'm a good friend.
Governor, why do you look skeptical? Why do you look afraid of the offer made by the senator?
No, the offer is genuine, and I'm very happy today that he has offered to support me for the first time in history.
29th of July.
Because Chair, she has never come to me for any help or any support, even ideas or anything. So, but this one, I'm donating my free service to ensure that Meru gets the city status. But she has never approached me to help her on any matter. So I think she is very capable of handling all the issues that we have.
And Mr. Speaker, everything starts with the first step. And sometimes she does not even have to ask, because I know there are things you have done for Meru County, which sometimes the governor will take credit for. For example, the mediation to increase the allocation to counties. Meru is going to get more, and we did it for the people of Meru.
We shall have a chair, but I can leave it, Chairman.